Hello, this is Caroline from Wild Nettle Gardens, and today I have the privilege of being with Charles Dowding at Homemakers, his fantastic market garden. And he's very kindly agreed to answer a few questions for me. So the first one, Charles, is, as you know, I'm setting up, and I was just wondering if you had a few pointers to which vegetable stroke salad are the best vegetables or salad to grow and the easiest to market. So do you have, for example, say like a top 5?
Well, one of them you mentioned is salad, and I recommend doing it in a bag of mixed leaves because there's more price premium on that, and you can sell them by like 100-gram bags or whatever. But the advantage more than anything is that any leaf vegetable really is where you want to go because you can keep picking leaves. You're not taking out the plants. You know, if you pull a carrot, that plant's finished. But you can pick leaves off a lettuce or spinach or kale, and they keep growing. So that's the kind of direction for small growers to look in for the best price advantage, at least. You might want to grow some other things to help you sell them, maybe to increase your range. I would say beetroot is pretty well up there because, particularly with the multi-sowing method, so you've got much more reliable crop establishment there. I raise plants 4 seedlings in a cell, plant them out in a clump, and get fantastic yields with really not too much effort. So kale could be another one. Spinach, learn the sowing dates. Like spinach, a really good date. I'm not sure when this video will come out, but if it's in time, 10th of August, it's a really good time to sow spinach. This is true spinach, not leaf bean. Much nicer flavour. You can cook it or you can eat it in salad. So there's a few ideas.
So when you say true spinach, do you mean perpetual spinach?
Well, no, that's exactly it. Or what is commonly called perpetual spinach is actually beetroot root growing beet leaves, which cook up like spinach, just in the same way that you can eat beetroot leaves. It's not dissimilar, a bit finer than them. But true spinach is much softer and more. It's what the supermarket sell as baby leaf spinach. Except the same plants you can grow to make quite big leaves, which are really nice cooked, and they're big and strong. But it's a totally winter hardy plant, so down to -12 centigrade, 10 Fahrenheit, and if you give a bit of protection, it'll grow a bit more in the winter. But they are very winter hardy. So you sow in August, crop a little bit October, November, then it goes dormant but doesn't die. Crop again in the spring.
Fantastic. Okay, and we're standing here in your beautiful garden on a very warm day. So could you please address, because I'm looking at irrigation and things like that, and I noticed that you don't have any. So how do you monitor your watering needs, etc.?
Well, yeah, I guess I've got enough experience I can pretty well judge it like that. But there are a few rule of thumb ideas, like for example, leafy crops that are growing lots of leaves fast, like lettuce, basically needs a lot more water than, say, beetroot, which is just slowly growing its root. And actually, if you look at my beetroot here on an afternoon like this, often the leaves are limp, they're wilted. It doesn't mean the plant's dying, it's just having a break in the afternoon heat because it can't get enough moisture, and then they perk up again in the evening. But for me, that's a veg at the moment. It's pretty well grown already, actually. These are fairly mature ones. It's got enough water to do what I want it to do, whereas something like the lettuce, we are watering every second day, even in extreme heat every day, and we do it all by hand, because I find that, well, the way I like to run my garden is very much in blocks, piecemeal. I'm not doing a strict 4-year rotation or anything like that, where it's a block of all the same, say, all your leeks are together and all your kale and cabbage are together, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. If you did have that, watering would be simpler because all the crops requiring a certain amount of water, you could just perhaps put a sprinkler on. But mine is much more interesting. It also makes it more interesting to water. So we're going around with a hose and very efficient in terms of water use because we're directing it just onto the beds. Very little goes on the path even. And we can put it exactly where it's needed when we want it. And at the moment, and it's unusually dry, we've had 3 weeks now without rain, quite hot. We're spending a good hour a day, might be even an hour and a half a day, with holding a hose. But I still feel I prefer that than setting up some kind of system wasting water. It still needs time to move all this stuff around. It's more plastic and all that kind of thing. So there's pros and cons. Have a think about how you like to garden, really, more than anything.
Yes, I certainly found it was the time of day when I was watering that I would see what was growing and say hello to the plants, and yeah, just generally find out what was
Yeah,
looking healthy
well,
and not.
exactly. That's one of the nice things about hand watering. You you know, while you're doing it, you really are kind of communing a bit with your plants. There's not much else to do. You have a good look, and surprising how often one notices things like, oh, this one needs support, or
Yeah.
oh, there's a bit of pest damage, maybe it needs a cover, or whatever it might be. Or you can do jobs like side shooting tomatoes, pulling out the odd weed. And here there's very few weeds, and we do most of our weeding while we're doing other jobs, like say watering, just pull out the odd weed, for example. So it's not wasted time watering.
I do feel a bit like a stalker because, yes, I have watched you for hours and hours on YouTube, especially when my foot was mending. So thank you very much for being so entertaining. So we're standing right by the no dig dig experiment. I'm sorry. So I was just saying that. 5% over, I think you said 11 years, but you waxed lyrical about the time savings. So talk a little bit about how to best manage your time when you're setting up in the first couple of years, say.
I would say the best investment you can make is buying a decent amount of compost too. That will do two things. Mulch weeds, so it helps to kill the weeds, give you clean surface to grow in. But also it brings fertility and moisture retention over many years to come. So that can be a big one-off. It's not every year you've got to buy loads of compost. But initially in year one, I'm always advising, do that. It's got more complicated recently because of this really annoying weed killer produced by Dow, aminopyrrolate. You have to be very careful of horse manure, also of hay, even some mushroom compost, and occasionally green waste compost has it. It's just getting ridiculous. I've actually got a guy coming from Dow on Monday, and I want to put a bit of, not exactly pressure, but I want to find out from him, what is their long-term plan, because they're really causing so many problems. But anyway, apart from that, if you can get organic matter is probably a better way of putting it, because compost doesn't have to be perfect compost. It can be your own compost, obviously. It could be leaf mold, wood chips. 2-year-old wood chip is great compost. If you're thinking long term, get yourself a huge pile of somebody else's waste wood chipped, and that will turn into compost, and that should be free of any pesticides and anything like that. So keep your eyes open, get geared up to make your own compost, and once you've got a no dig surface with enough organic matter on the surface to feed soil organisms, the soil just doesn't grow so many weeds. That's just a fact. And people who try it for the first time are skeptical. It's just blown away. Where are the weeds? As long as you've been thorough mulching the perennial weeds, that's where year one it's more important. Like couch grass, and they do sometimes push through mulches, and you've got to keep removing them. It's not like turn your back at any point. But that's another really important thing. Actually, is little and often is a much better way to garden successfully than once every 2 weeks big hit kind of thing, because you just stay involved and you can keep on top of things much more easily. So hopefully you can set it up. That's why living on site is ideal for market gardens, for example.
Yes, I'm going to try doing that myself. So do you have, say, 3 favourites that you like to grow?
Favourite vegetables? One would have to be lettuce, actually, just because more than anything, several things. It looks beautiful while it's growing. These beds of lettuce, actually, that one there, it's under mesh because it's the heat. We've had to protect the new plants a bit because they were drying out a bit fast otherwise. But they look really pretty, all the blocks of colour. They taste great, and they just keep on giving so many kilos. So hard not to like that one. I really like onions as well. I find them like here. They're so beautiful and statuesque when they're growing. So they give a lot of enjoyment. And then, of course, you've got a harvest that stores for a long time. These are seed-grown, multi-sown again. We'll harvest these early August. And the ones we harvested last year in early August, we're still eating at the moment. We are eating just the very last of last year's onions, 11 months after harvest date. I had them hanging in bunches in my conservatory. So they store really well. And, following from that, potatoes, I say, is the other one. They're pretty dead simple to grow. I'd recommend a second early like Charlotte, because that means we're early July now. They're coming up to harvest any time now, by mid-July. They're gone. They're in a sack in your shed. You can eat them any time through the winter, even until March. They're still good to eat. So that's like a store of food you've got. And meanwhile, you can sow or plant rather leeks or beetroot or kale. You've got many second cropping opportunities after second early potatoes.
Fabulous. So thank you very much for this. And just to wrap it up then, what are your top 2 tips for would-be market gardeners like myself to be... I think one of the things that I'm most interested in is starting... I think the growing part I can just about cobble together, but the selling of it. How would you, if you were starting out with no reputation, how would you start marketing your product?
Well, can I answer your first question?
You can.
First, which was, you were saying, what are the most important things? And I'll just say time. The thing you're going to be most short of is time. So you've got to set it up in a way that is manageable by you with your time available. Don't go too big. And that's where no-dig is great, because you can scale up at any point. You're not going to kind of plough up 2 acres or a hectare and just then get smothered in weeds. It takes a while to make no-dig beds, but you just do it incrementally and just keep on top of it all the time. Skills is another one that I think is underestimated. How good you are with your hands, working quickly and efficiently, doing jobs evenly and successfully, even something like hoeing, say, to do it well. When you get skilled at it, you can whiz over ground very quickly and cover a large area for little effort, for example. And then marketing, of course, it's easy for me now because I've got a reputation, but if you are starting out, I think reliability of supply has to be the key thing. Obviously, you've got to have good stuff to start with.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you can keep it coming week after week after week. Once you've got your friendly buyer, they're going to keep looking in your direction. It's easier for them than finding a new supplier. And so if you've always got stuff, and corollary to that means you've got to be prepared to waste a bit. Like when we pick salad here twice a week, we regularly have 10% more than we can sell. And that, if I can't find someone who actually, I give it to, that will go on the compost heap. And that's better though than, say not having quite enough, not having no waste, if you like. But then you're going to be disappointed customer, you might lose them. So you've got to have enough.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for everything I've learned from you, everything you do for everyone who is trying to eat better food. And I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thanks, Caroline. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.